Gotcha.
All right, so as a parent, you hope that all the life lessons that you taught your kids, they take and use to be happy and successful. Well, here we're standing on a 20-acre farm in southeast Iowa. My two sons just bought on their own. At 19 and 20 years old, they bought their first farm, no help from anybody. And as you can see, getting ready to unload some feeders, get this thing set up. Very unique deal we've got here is a city limits farm. So it's got some special hunting regulations on it that are going to prove to be pretty awesome, I think. But my wife and I as parents are super proud of the boys. You know, we couldn't hope for anything better for them at this point in their life. And a lot of exciting things to come. And the biggest part is that we're doing it together. And they got all their buddies here helping them. We had 7 people at our house last night that I'm sure my wife is cleaning up the aftermath from right now. So super proud parents, exciting things to come. Stay tuned.
There's a really nice platform off the roll.
Yeah, the camera.
So we bought 20 acres. Tanner and I kind of came across a deal here through a realtor kind of squeaking the door on something, and it turned into spending a lot of money on a rather sexy farm. So we're in here putting the first feeder up. It's kind of cool. It's like all these firsts are like first on my own piece, first on Tanner's own piece. So like our names are actually going to be on, like we put all the money into. So it's exciting stuff to like get in here, and like when we're doing the work that we're usually doing, we're like, oh, you know, this isn't even a lease. This is like our piece of ground. Like nobody's taking this away from us. So it's just fun to play with, I guess. And this is just the start. This is probably phase 1. I'm gonna get some feed put in this, and from the history that I've seen in this freaking neighborhood, it shouldn't be long. We should have a freaking big deer on camera here. So I'm excited to see. I've got to run to a listing appointment here. Tanner's over there being a cripple. He had appendix surgery yesterday, emergency appendix surgery yesterday, and all of a sudden he's back out here 12 hours later in the freaking field, back to work. So we're gonna get this feeder filled and continue with our lives.
So for the longest time, Dad's goal for me and Jesse was to get into real estate, and this was our first investment together. We picked up this 20 acres. It's bow hunting only, which is super unique. You also get your tags through the actual city that the farm is actually placed in. And those are extra buck tags on top of your IDNR issued tags. But with it being bow only, a lot of the stuff around is still considered city limits too. So there's just giants lurking in this stuff that's, you know, suburban or, you know, close to town. So anyways, with this farm, me and Jesse went in halves on it, and you know, we did Muscant this past season, and it kind of just paid for it. Like the goal for it was to build up our money and find a farm, and this farm came up, and I was like, you know what, this is it. Like, let's do it. Let's do something cool. It's close to. We sprayed some of this stuff already. Gonna do a big food plot up here, green plot, and we just put a 1,000-pound corn feeder that we move in from Kansas, got a Tacticam on it, and we're going to take inventory here soon. So we got some analogic feed going in. We're going to keep this place fed. I think it's going to be really crucial to have that feed here this year because, you know, around here there's really nothing. It's just yards, some hay fields, the normal stuff. But anyways, we're going to see what we can get on camera here. I guess that'll help us take inventory. So
You need to clean your hands up there.
A little dusty? Yeah.
All right, so shout out to Joe. We went to Kansas last week, and we're setting up our Kansas farm. And Joe owns Deer Necessity Products, and he has come up with this invention that is literally a 200-pound brick of corn, basically. I'm not lying when I say it's 200 pounds. I can barely lift it off the ground myself. So we dropped it once coming in. Like I said, it's a brick, so it didn't break. But it is basically just a giant brick of loveliness to deer, in my opinion. They loved ours in Kansas, so we put 2 more out in Kansas, and then Tanner and I were both like, heck, we'll put one down here on the 20, and we're going to put one in Missouri. But after the little law change there on the way home, I don't know that we're going to use it there. So we're going to probably put it out on rocks, but I'll flip this. Dang. Oh, there it is. Slide right into this one. It's literally just a brick of corn. All right, phase 2 of the 20. We've moved the feeder from where it was, because the feeder was in a temporary spot just because me and Tanner were just antsy to get cameras out. We wanted to see what was going on, so got a couple nice bucks. But me and Tristan came back today for technically Operation 1, was the plan for Operation 1. And I believe we executed it pretty good. We got a dang 2-lane highway that literally comes right in the south side of the farm all the way down to the bottom. The road was originally here, it just needed cleaned up. So that's what I did, cleaned it up. And then me and Tristan wrangled the feeder and the old buck muffin down here into the bottom. And cleaned this little area up. When I found it here in March, whenever I walked the property, I came down here, I was like, this is what I envisioned the spot to look like, just because it's not a hunting spot by any means, but it's this big bottom, runs east and west, and it's like just miles and miles and miles in each direction. It's just this big travel corridor, so I figure even if the deer's not technically living here, you get a picture of them, resale value sometimes on your investments. But you can make a move to if you need to, or just getting kind of a general idea of what's going on in the area. So the food plot up top, which is what we sprayed earlier, I swear that thing's probably brown when it come up top here in about 30 minutes. But that food plot's going to be the point where we do a lot of hunting. It'll be the main hub that we just can't really get back up in here cleanly. Maybe in middle November we can get down in here, but we're not going to try it early October or late season. We're just going to focus on food up there. We're going to do a fall plot up there this year probably, and then next year we'll clean it up a little bit, maybe plant some corn there, help us with a little bit of access, and it'd be the only food in the area. So July 18th, I'm going to say by August 1st, we have a giant on this camera. I think it's going to take him a second. Maybe we'll get a strong east wind cruising up the bottom, you think? Blow that east wind up there, he's going to smell that from 10 miles away and be like, is that Analogics? Oh my God, there's a buck muffin up there. You're not going to be able to stop him. All right, so we just knocked out Missouri, and we are finishing up here on the Iowa 20. A little backstory on this piece, and I don't know if I've touched on it much, but this is a city limits piece. And so with that, you've kind of got to do what they call a proficiency test through the city, because not necessarily the laws, but the extra regulations they add on to city hunting, because it's a bow-only zone, which is what makes this piece so, cool, is you have to follow the police department, they make you do a proficiency test. So you got to shoot 20 yards. As long as you shoot good, they'll send you into the county courthouse, and then you get all your paperwork done, and you can get your 3 doe tags. And once you fill your 3 doe tags and check them in with the fire department, next year you qualify for the drawing for a buck tag, which is almost 100% guarantee. I would say just about everybody, at least in this city limits spot, gets it if they qualify for it. So, but like I said, we bought 20 acres here, and most of the time a city limits piece is permission. But buying this gives us full control of the ground, which is why we're doing the food plot. And it gives us for city limit stuff, most people hunt 5, 6, 7, 2, 3 acre tracts. So it gives us a little bit of room to run here. We've got some really good deer on it. Nothing that I would say is mature. Definitely deer that are probably going to be targeted by other hunters this year. Like Slim is the original 10-pointer we got here. Popped the video up of him. He's probably, there was a picture of him on here last year, and I couldn't tell if he was 2 or 3. This year, I can't tell if he's 3 or 4. He's got a really small body, which makes his rack look really big. But he's probably a 150-inch 10-pointer, and then there's just some really cool genetic deer that we're getting on camera right now that are kind of all running in that same group of bucks. So we'll kind of flash through some pictures and videos of them. But so far, the potential we're seeing is really good. We just need a mature deer. There were some pictures of some big mature deer on here last year. So I think with us kind of amplifying the pulling power of this, and kind of just where it sits, placement of this freaking 20 is just insane. So I can't imagine that we're going to struggle very hard to, once the crops start coming out in the area, because that's the only thing about this piece is it is a long way to any row crop, and that's what we're going to do here next year. We've got about 6.5 acres here to work with. Obviously, we got it a little late this year, but next year we're going to really spruce this thing up and use it or put it to its maximum potential, and see if we can apply our normal tactics from most of our other farms that we do, whether it's grain to green or big grain and big green. Right now we're working with what I would consider, your standard green plot, about 1 acre, but we're going to have hopefully 6 acres of food on here next year, which is exciting. So it'd be interesting to see what the pulling power really does. So we're going to wrap up this. I got to go back and get more seed and wrap this plot up and keep moving. It is fall plot time.